Lucifer's missing! There is no this haribo sugar free Bro, that's shit! What the fuck? I will set the scene. It was later. It was late winter. It was late winter or early spring in Toronto, and the city had just been digging itself out from a late season snowstorm. I was heading to Pearson International Airport for a red-eye flight to Amsterdam in order to give the Dutch arm of our company some training on the new software that had been installed. I'm deliberately being vague to prevent my place of work from being linked in any way to the incident that occurred. I had just finished packing, checked the time, and found I was running late. My flight was at 7:10 p.m., and it was now almost 5:00 p.m. Cursing softly, I ran out of the car and threw my bags in the trunk, hitting the gas a little harder than usual in my haste to make it to the long-term parking lot as soon as possible. Luckily, traffic was light on the 401, and I made it to the airport in record time. But knew that my chances of making the flight were still at risk if I didn't use my time wisely.
Your PFP was a dog smoking. I just realized that.
For real?
That's a goddamn fox, you goddamn idiot.
What?
That's a fucking fox, you.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same thing.
I hadn't eaten since lunch.
What?
And I man, you fucking what?
Man, you fucking what?
Bloody hell! Bloody hell, man! Oh, great heavens! What the fuck is a kilometer? Okay. I hadn't eaten since lunch, and I was feeling a bit hungry, my stomach rumbling loudly in protestation, which caused me to look around at the other travelers rushing past me in a busy terminal. Modified that my bodily noises might be heard by others. I briskly checked my watch and decided that I had enough time to grab a quick snack before going through the baggage check and security, and would get something more substantial once I was checked for security. I spotted a vending machine nested in a relatively low traffic corner of the terminal and rushed over. It's
Sounds
getting
like
worse.
a horror movie.
For real! Already putting up my credit card and mentally assessing what I had a craving for, so as to save time interacting with the machine. My eyes scanned the colorful array of confection quickly, coming to rest on a tantalizing rainbow-colored bag of gummy bears with the simple white and red logo Haribo emblazoned across the bag and what appeared to be a slightly tweaked Helvetica rounded font. Now, I had to pause here in the story for a moment to underscore the importance. Holy shit! Underscore the importance of making proper choices. I was hungry. Okay, you're gonna read now.
When you're hungry, you should eat food. Food is defined as a nutritious substance that people consume to maintain life. This is what food is. These days, the definition of the word food has been
Motherfucker making a fucking definition.
Definition of food.
The definition of the word food has been bastardized.
This in your mouth.
and the meaning has been broadened to include vegetability and any material that can be digested or rather chewed and swallowed without causing death or severe illness. Haribo sugar-free gummy bears are not food. They are unknown from this planet. I imagine the origin is being conceived in a boardroom in hell by a top team of creative pain administrators with senior level demon rubbing their hands together in ghoulish delight as Hell's chef can slowly lift the veil of the new.
Oh my god.
The point being, I made a very, very poor choice. I pushed the button and the vending machine ejected the brightly colored bag into my awaiting hands. I had always liked gummy bears. They were bright but rather innocuous. Is that how you say it?
Nope.
They
Yeah.
weren't overly sweet so as to become cloying, and of course, each candy came in the visage of a rather happy, docile bear reminiscent of the picture one's mind's eye hold of all anthropomorphic bears from
Anthropomorphic.
What does that word
Bears from
Andrew,
Yogi to
I knew it. Hang on.
What
do you
does
know
that word
What do you mean you
mean?
know it? None of us know what that means.
That means relating to or characterized by anthropomorphism, and that is the attribution,
What does that mean?
the attribution of human characteristics to or behavior to a god, animal, or
Oh,
object.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
So
okay.
it's saying it's against
Yeah, it's against
human of
the-
god or some shit. Yeah.
The way I figured it, I was taking a bit of a holiday from life, so I could relax my
Yeah,
fastidious
Hytham.
regimen daily schedule a little to allow for some what
Okay.
is
After the
this
sentence,
word?
it frogreed.
Yeah, after this I'll
After
leave.
all, I was going to be in Amsterdam. Come morning. What is that? With 16
What
hours
is
to
that?
kill before I had to be training the Dutch employees. Maybe I would take a trip down to one of the coffee shops in the red light district and really let my hair down. No, I would not do that. I would see that area of the city from the bus as I went to the hotel where I would eat at the hotel restaurant and drink sparkling water. So I'd better
Andrew
enjoy the
too.
gummy bears, my one extravagance to
Andrew too.
commemorate my break from routine. Oh shit.
Okay, now it's frog.
You
Alright, my
continue.
turn.
It's frog now. Frog now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Frog, continue.
I joined the queue in the KLM line, which was mercifully short, most likely all because the passengers for my flight have already been checked. Though as the flight was scheduled to depart in an hour, I checked my watch again, frowned, and absent-minded opened the bag of haribo spaghetti gummy bears, and I began to munch on them as the line slowly advanced. To be fair, they tasted fine, just like any other manufacturer's brand of colourful candy. And they were sugar-free to boot. This is what made the whole incident that followed so baffling. They tasted well different, and most likely wouldn't have continued to shovel them into my mouth absent-mindedly while daydreaming about what I would order to eat from room service in my hotel in Amsterdam. As I gave the attendant my e-ticket, she weighed
E-ticket?
She weighed my bags.
E-ticket.
Literally e-ticket, dude, what the hell? And she weighed my bags. The first of pains began in my stomach. I thought nothing of it at first, chalking it up to the fact I needed something more substantial than gummy worms to tackle my hunger. But over the course of the next 5 minutes, the shooting pain began to become in more of a rapid succession.
Oh
At
shit.
this point, I had my boarding pass printed, and rubbing my stomach a little, I proceeded to security. I briefly entertained the thought of trying to find a restroom before going to security, but at that point my discomfort was manageable and I didn't think it could get any worse. Certainly not within the time I would take to clear security. Right, who wants to go next?
I can take over again.
Yeah, you go, Danny.
Yeah, do it.
I joined the line and started fishing for my passport to present to the agent checking tickets. I felt a thin sheen of sweat break out on my forehead and underarms, and my features flushed for a moment as a wave of heat washed over me. I didn't pay it much heat as going through security. Always caused me great anxiety, and I choked up. And anxiety, and I choked it up to pre-flight jitters.
Yeah.
It was only as I stood face to face with the agent and handed her my passport and ticket that I had a glimpse of the agony that was about to begin. It felt like time rippled for a moment, as if my consciousness buckled. So intense was the pain that fired through from I grimaced spastically and emitted a low moan and felt myself taken in involuntary steps sideways. Stars shot through my head briefly, and my and my vision blurred and then snapped back into focus. The agent was staring at me with slight consternation and asked me if I was alright. I put myself together, stood up straight, and declared that I was fine. Mortified that I had a lapse of decorum, not only in public but at a security clearance in an airport. As I fumbled off my belt to go through the metal detector, the pain in my stomach increased and I practically had to sit on the floor to take my shoes off, terrified of what would happen if I bent at the middle to do it. It was becoming increasingly more evident to me that this wasn't just a stomach ache. No, this was something much worse. As I tried, I had a bout of diarrhea after a trip to Mexico with my family. I remember the feeling of nausea. Nausea?
Nausea.
Ah.
Like that thing, like the thing from Minecraft, you know.
Yeah, you feel
Yeah.
You get too dizzy and sick, like, yeah.
Yeah.
That swept through me before my child self had surrendered to the gas pains and parked myself on the toilet for an hour. Shitting until I felt like I didn't have any bones left.
No bones left.
And
How
that's
does that
what I
make
was
sense?
feeling now, with several key differences. The pain was worse, the sense of an impending bowel movement was so formidable, it gave me temporary amnesia, and it took over my willpower, all of it, to clench my butt cheeks together.
Oh, oh my god.
Going. Alright, it's
Oh my God.
Yeah, your turn, your
all
turn.
pricks, all pricks.
Oh, okay. A sudden shock of pain wrecked my body, and I half wondered if I was going to give birth to a tsunami. oh shit! Wait a second. Someone's calling me.
Oh, okay.
I
Oh man, what the fuck is this review? It's not a fucking review anymore.
Dude, it's a book.
it's
a life
it's
story.
allowed.
It's
It's
a
a
novel.
novel.
It's allowed on Amazon.
Dude, they should
bro.
make this into like a movie.
I wonder what the reaction of Haribo to this is, bro.
Okay. To give birth to a tsunami in Devon.
Tasmania.
Tasmania.
Never induced image, said cartoon animal chasing bugs bunny through the splashy volcanic shit kettle. Was my stomach caused me to licked in a shock maniacal bark of laughter as I approached the metal detector, a wild, distant look in my eyes. Sweat now begins to pour off my like long-distance runner in Kenya.
Bro,
The
what the
security
fuck?
agent on the other side of the detector shot a quick glance over to her coworker, who narrowed his eyes and made a subtle subtle movement towards his holster. My breathing became uneven as I entered the metal
Uneven.
detector.
How does someone's breathing become uneven?
I don't know.
Just happens.
As I entered the metal detector,
Hyperventilating.
He's going
and I realized with alarm, where am I? That I had taken off my socks without even registering it.
Huh?
And one of my shirt tails was untucked
tails,
to the
huh?
front. I held my
Oh.
breath, my eyes bulging dangerously from my head as the machine scanned me. As I shakily moved forward towards.
Oh,
Forward
God.
words. Okay.
Oh, okay. The agent for a pat down. My stomach began to elect sounds that can only be described as otherworldly.
Extraterrestrial sounds. The sounds are extraterrestrial.
That's
The
a
sounds
whole
are
goddamn
ET.
story.
Bro, are you sure that he only ate those gummy bears, man? What the fuck?
Easy. Those
Started off
premium
a
edition gummy
sort
bears,
of
mate.
bubbling sound. From a foreign growing pitch and intensity. Intensity. It's an my jaw dropped in a shock is what I can only describe as the sound of agonized moaning alligator with a President Doppler effect at the region of my intestines.
Oh my god.
I'm literally gonna die, dude. I can't take this. I'm gonna cry.
Oh man.
The officer's winded in alarm, and she had her eyes glued to my stomach as she thoroughly patted me
yeah.
down. As she reached my shins, I felt my innards suddenly
Innards.
expand and plummet towards my rectum. With cat-like
What
reflexes,
the
I
fuck?
screwed my spin shut with what seems like nanoseconds. And I knew that if I didn't get to the bathroom immediately, I would shit myself.
Okay, let me continue.
Okay, let's go.
Now it's high thumb.
Yeah, with a Herculean effort and all of the strength that I could muster, I forced my butt cheeks together. Oh my god, knowing that one false move would open the floodgates, I began to walk like a duck, trying to remain as inconspicuous as possible, not even caring now what other people were seeing in front of them. A disheveled, barefoot 40-year-old businessman, red-faced and bulgy-eyed, wearing confusely, jerking slightly and walking without bending his knees with single-minded intensity. I grabbed my carry-on shoes and socks from out of the plastic tub that had passed the X-ray inspection, and without putting anything back on, I turned on my heels with the intention of finding the nearest restroom
Oh
and
my
slowly drying there
Oh
one
my
squirt at a
God.
time.
God.
But that's
But
not
that's
what
not what
happened.
happened.
I turned to go and found myself staring at three armed agents who stopped me and asked if I would follow them. Why? What's the matter? I stammered, wincing slightly as the act of speech seemed to strain the
This paragraph is so juicy. I just read the last.
tenuous and extremely fragile truce I had negotiated between my bowels and the tempest that raged within. I have to go to the bathroom right now, I pleaded. Just follow us, please, they
Just
said.
follow us.
Just follow us, please, they said.
Motherfucker
Leaving no
shitting
room for
himself. Just
argument.
follow us.
Just follow us, please. Leaving no room for argument. The
Hold it
other
open.
travelers clearing the security check stared with curiosity and revulsion at the spectacle unfolding before them, whispering amongst themselves and hurrying to pack up their belongings and get as far away from me as possible. No doubt, assuming that the airport had nabbed some sort of domestic terrorist, I had to think urgently trying to hold back the eruption of
I'll read next.
With each step I took towards the room that they ushered me into, I felt that my legs would give way. I marveled at how strong the human will could be. Marveled at what was essentially patching a hole in the Hoover Dam with bubble gum could actually be sustained indefinitely. Maybe I would make it though, this ordeal after all. The room they brought me into was an examination room. I had pretty much stopped registering details of my environment as consciousness, closed off all but the absolutely necessary functions. Breathing, ability to walk, but I snapped back to reality when I heard the snap of rubber.
In a moment.
The slow dawning of realization poked through my agony and stoic resolve as I turned to face an agent
Oh,
donning
God.
rubber gloves.
My turn.
Oh.
I want to
Sir,
read this. I wanna read
okay,
this.
continue for
your turn.
continue.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
Jeez, there was more.
God. So we're
It's
gonna
just
perform a
not ending.
cavity search on you. A young, fresh-faced agent stated in the firm but emotionless voice. His short-cropped blonde hair was immaculate, and for a crazy moment, I wondered if he was an actor and this was all some sort of elaborate practical joke to amuse bored kids watching YouTube. He must have taken my tortured silence or resistance because he was looking at me sharply and said, "Lower your pants and underwear, please, and face the desk."
What the fuck?
What the fuck? Panic
Ah, hell no.
Panic started
Motherfucker
to
shitting the agent.
It's gonna plasma falls on him.
He's about to shit on his face.
Panic started to grip me in its icy grasp, and suddenly the adrenaline threatened to destroy my sphincters.
Yo, this has to be fake. Come on.
This has to be.
Can't take this seriously.
I can't take this. My sphincters bulwarks and rend my anus in two.
Oh my god.
I inhaled sharply with a pain the grabs, I doubled up my efforts to clench my cheeks together. "Sir, please," I begged, deferring to this kid as an act of desperation. "I have to go to the bathroom. You can follow me into the store if you need to, but I had some bad haribo sugar-free gummy bears, and now I feel like..." But they stopped listening and smirked at each other. Two of the other agents, a tall, dark-haired email, bro.
Female.
Electronic mail, let's go.
Right.
Cyborg.
Dark-haired female and a short, balding fat
Balding fat
man.
man, EDP.
Oh my god, it's EDP! It's EDP, oh my god! Looked away from me, and I could see them shaking a little as they stifled their laughs.
Fuck
So
shaker.
faced the wall for your hands.
Voting again.
The young agent stated, a lopsided grin on his face, but I began to protest, and then a fresh shock of pain forced me to stop and lean on the table with an ungodly grin on. An ungodly howling rose from my stomach. Something between the dying moans of a woolly mammoth and the sound of bubble wrap popping underwater.
Oh my god.
I exhaled shakily and my focus began to narrow as I rallied for the final battle, shaking uncontrollably and sweating.
Bro, don't wait, what's
The final boss! He's at the last stage. Shaking uncontrollably and sweat literally raining down onto the table in front of me, I turned to face the wall and I heard a meek, oh god, childlike. Oh, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. Pleading from somewhere in the room. Please, it said again, please, from somewhere within me. My mind recognized that this sound has issued from me. Although my consciousness now began to separate from my body as I held my breath and prayed to God for strength. Oh God, you probably have some heroin up there that opened up, the female god said as a part of me that hadn't escaped earlier into the ether. Huh?
Into the ether yet acknowledged.
Yeah,
Ether, we say that ether.
Yeah, ether.
Right. That she was behind me to my left, probably high as a kite. Look at him. The shorter I'm losing it. I can't continue.
With a snort?
I can't. I can't.
Spread your cheeks.
I want to do this part.
Do it.
Spread your cheeks, the young agent said. He was directly behind me and lower than the other two. And bend over. Please go. I whispered in a desperate maniacal mantra, not even aware of my surroundings anymore. I felt like I was lost in an opium fog with half-snatched images. Opium fog with half-snatched images and sounds filtering through the greater nonsensical version of reality. Another volley of pain tore through me, and I involuntarily leaned forward over the desk. My focus completely narrowed now to a spot on the wall 2 feet in front of me.
Are we still reading the same story?
A curious imperfection in the wall seemed to be a whitewashed stone wall. It was a dark blotch about 5 millimeters long and shaped like a smiling bear. A yellow dancing bear. No, a green bear. No, red. It was all the colors of the rainbow. My God, it was beautiful.
Motherfucker
was high or something.
He just about to die. His brain.
Bro, the pain was so hard, he just went high. For real? Yeah.
Oh my god.
Allbricks, read this, Allbricks.
It just took something as simple as a slight breeze to trigger
Holy shit.
That's all. No trumpets, no fanfare, no fire raining from the heavens, no dogs and cats living together in harmony, no finger on the button, no prophet to predict it, no nothing. As I started at the rainbow bear, smiling and dancing in front of me, my mouth agape,
Agape, yeah.
drooling, my eyes glazed and bloodshot, face coated with a sheen of sweat. I heard the softest sound, an exhalation from the young agent behind me, and then at the same instant, the warm air of his breath filled
Oh,
across
God.
my butt cheeks.
Motherfucker's eating his shit or something.
That is horrible. No.
For just a moment, maybe less, maybe a split second, even a nanosecond, I felt the presence of God there in that room as neurons began to misfire at the nerve-ending bristled and the muscles twitched reflexively. I stood on the brick with 1 foot hovering over the edge, and then without taking a step, I found myself plummeting.
Oh,
plummeting.
God. Oh my God, don't look at
How
that.
long is
It
it?
keeps on going.
Oh, okay.
Okay, can you
Okay,
can I
okay, okay.
continue or do you continue?
With-
Do you want me to continue?
Yeah, continue.
Okay, with a sound like an extra large plastic ketchup bottle being run over by a Mack truck, my,
Oh,
my sphincter released. The pressure of the blast pushed me hard into the desk, and the legs of the desk screeched as they scraped across the floor.
He's a rocket,
My body,
Jesus.
my body remained rigid for a moment, and I
Organic
experienced
missile,
a
he's an
relief that
organic
can be only
missile.
described as orgasmic in its purity. My eyes rolled back in my head, and my tongue lolled out of my head. Racked
He
my
was doing
body.
the Hago face.
Wait, what? Where am I? I lost.
Wait.
I lost the line.
You're here.
Oh, like a half retarded dog, and I emitted a low, sustained groan that grew in a pitch as the filthy torrent pushed its way out of my body.
What the fuck?
Torrent.
Tremors racked my body, and I must have looked like a fish out of water with an endless stream of shit.
What?
out of its ass. Other sounds and sensations started to filter in now as my consciousness began to materialize once more.
Materialize everything.
Yeah.
The muffled scream of a dungeon filled with prisoners near death radiated from my stomach.
No,
The rushing sound of liters of liquid trying to escape from my vertical accommodated. All the same time, the only present sound of chunky liquid spattering against the hard surface with great force. Screaming of a woman's voice calling out to
Make it
God.
stop, make it stop.
Voice sobbing, uncontrollably imploring to
Make it stop!
Make it stop.
Yeah, me too. Oh my God. My own pathetic monotone wail. When my ordeal had eventually run its course, I was left panting for breath and wobbly legged, half crying, half laughing with relief, barely lucid and feeling as if I had birthed an elephant.
Oh my God.
My column felt like someone had poured chili sauce all over it and then sent in a colony of fire and ants to eat it. Through my sobs, I heard the sound of dripping, like when
Oh
the
my God.
sprinklers are eventually turned off after an office fire, or after a thunderstorm when the willow that overhangs a pond continues to rain down long after the sky has stopped.
Oh my God, he was
Bro, what
talking
is
about
this?
rain of shit.
Fucking shit.
when-
I still can't imagine it. You
was
fucking
like
shit
on the
face.
From behind me,
he was
the
on
sobbing
the roof
continued, and I
it
heard
was
someone
like-
trying to speak into a walkie-talkie, but nonsensical words were all that the man could speak, which sounded like the ravings of a lunatic.
Danny,
With great
Danny,
relief,
go,
I
Danny, go,
slowly
Danny.
pulled away the
Marco,
earth.
Let him.
Oh, okay, go.
Yeah.
Let him cook, let him cook.
Let him
Yeah.
cook.
Mm-hmm.
Let him cook.
First one.
Man, that cookie good. With great relief, I slowly pulled myself off the table, legs trembling, my stomach eliciting one last second, a loud, prolonged gasp bubbling that really resembled a big orgasm.
Aviv, I
Eerily.
want you to know that we've been reading this for over 20 minutes.
Bro, it's still not enough. Resembled a big orgasm. I slowly
Someone
turned my
actually
head.
wrote this, bro.
Okay.
So-
I slowly turned my head to survey the devastation, and in that instant, if I had had a pencil or some other sharp object, I probably would have gouged my eyes out in revulsion. And the smell was enough to drive a man insane. It was the stench of rotting potatoes mixed with sulfur and ammonia, cooked in a broth of chicken feet and left to age for 2 weeks in a yeasty stew. After half a whiff of this ghoulish brain, I immediately stopped dripping through my nose, but the taste was to remain in the back of my throat for months to come.
Yo, Nameless, let's get Nameless to read. Yo, Nameless, do you want to read?
Yeah, Ita, you want?
Yeah.
Okay, do it.
The young agent has taken the brunt of the fall witch brew. And at first I couldn't process what I was seeing. I thought somehow the young blonde kid has been spirited away and replaced by a brown golem or an ATV rider that has spent the better part of a day driving through some mud puddle he could find after a torrential downpour. With some
That's a
degree of
word.
Compartmentalization.
What
That is a
Compartmentalization.
word. Alright then, Jesus.
Can you search it up?
Yeah, I can look it up.
What the hell does
Compartmentalization.
compartmentalization mean?
What?
What?
It's a form of.
It's a form of
Defense mechanism?
Yeah, it's a form of psychological defense mechanism with force and
Jesus.
feeling that seem
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Good to know.
I came to understand that for some
Fathomable.
unfathomable reason, this kid hadn't moved or hadn't been able to move the entire.
He fucking died.
He died. You drowned him. You really drowned him.
He drowned in the shit.
He's flooded. You've
Back to the lobby!
absolutely
See you in the lobby! Back to the lobby!
He had weathered the entire assault head on like some
Assault?
sort of hero from Greek mythology. I had given this fool schmuck a one-man shit book.
Buka give a shit. Oh my god.
I would make a Brazilian pornographer rich with this guy. And he was still in the same position he must have been from the moment of first impact.
First impact.
I
What
tried
the
to
fuck?
comprehend how he must be feeling, what he must be going through psychologically, but it became evident very quickly that he had become very broken. No doubt forced so deeply within himself. Once the firehouse has been turned on, that there was little to no hope of him ever coming back from it. Certainly not without extensive psychotherapy or lobotomy.
Bro became depressed because he got shit himself.
Dude became emo because he got shot on. Jesus.
Yeah.
Like,
I looked beyond his quivering catatonic crouch form to see a perfect outline of him cut out on the white wall behind. Other side filled in with a dripping opaque layer of alternately pulpy and rainy space of stew.
oh my god! Oh my god!
Bro,
Sounds like something I would
Bloody
see in a
hell.
cartoon.
I noticed two. Wait.
Yeah, you're there, you're there.
I noticed two quivering masses at either extremes of the room and realized they were humanoid in form.
Oh.
Although the caterwauling that was coming from these broken creatures was just blubbering gibberish.
What the fuck?
And this was the how do you read this?
Tableau.
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 That was burned into my mind's eye for eternity.
Needless to say, I missed my flight. In the fact,
Needless to say, I miss my flight.
in fact, the next week is a blur. I have vague I don't know
Yo,
how to say that, mate.
Oh,
Of an
Recollection.
army of
Recollection.
hazmat-clad figures looming over the brown landscape of a sealed room. The slopping sounds of rubber boats squelching in puddles of detritus?
Detritus. Detritus.
Doritos?
Detritus. Detritus.
Uncontrollably wailing and animal-like sounds issuing from the mouths of creatures that had been traumatized beyond their capacity for being put back together. My days, dude.
Oh my god.
The complete loss of sensation from my waist down as I was rolled through the room on a waterpool gurney. Bruv. Its wheels
Bro.
struggling to surf on top of the shit-soaked floor. I spent a week or so in the hospital, enclosed in...
A week?
A week? How
week?
shitting?
Oh my god.
How shitting cost a week of your life, alright? In the hospital, enclosed in a well-ventilated, sealed room, with suited doctor coming in on the hour to monitor my vital signs as they tried to rehydrate my body, and apparently expelled every available drop of water from my body that was possible to sustain life without a short period of time. All my clothes were incinerated at the hospital's crematorium, and the soiled bag of haribo sugar-free gummies was never recovered. This is my story. It is unconceivable to think that this product can be sold legally and be misrepresented as food. I was lucky. I survived. But as for the families of the survivors and the survivors themselves, they will forever live with the trauma of the events that took place at Pearson's International Airport on that snowy day in April 2013. What a banger story that was.
7 people